It is difficult for Americans to come to grips with the fact that their total money supply is backed by nothing but debt. And it is even more mind-boggling to visualize that if everyone paid back all that was borrowed, there would be no money left in existence. That's right, there would be not one penny in circulation. All coins and all paper currency would be returned to bank vaults, and there would be not $1 in any one's checking account. In short, all money would disappear. Mortimer Eccles was the governor of the Federal Reserve, seized him in 1941. On September 30th of that year, Eccles was asked to give testimony before the House Committee on Banking and Currency. The purpose of the hearing was to obtain information regarding the role of the Fed in creating conditions that led to the Depression of the 1930s. Congressman Wright Patman, who was chairman of that committee, asked how the Fed got the money to purchase $2 billion worth of government bonds in 1933. This is the exchange that followed. Eccles, we created it, Patman. Eccles, out of the right to issue credit money. Patman. And there is nothing behind it, is there? Except our government's credit. ECCLES. That is what our money system is. If there were no debts in our money system, there wouldn't be any money. It must be realized that, while money may represent an asset to selected individuals, when it is considered as an aggregate of the total money supply, it is not an asset at all. A man who borrows $1,000 may think that he has increased his financial position by that amount, but he has not. His $1,000 cash asset is offset by his $1,000 loan liability, and his net position is zero. Bank accounts are exactly the same on a larger scale. Add up all the bank accounts in the nation, and it would be easy to assume that all that money represents a gigantic pool of assets which support the economy. Yet, every bit of this money is owed by someone. Some will owe nothing. Others will owe many times what they possess. All added together, the national balance is zero. What we think is money is but a grand illusion. The reality is debt. Robert Hemphill was the credit manager of the Federal Reserve Bank in Atlanta. In the foreword to a book by Irving Fisher entitled 100% Money, Hemphill said this: "If all the bank loans were paid, no one could have a bank deposit, and there would not be a dollar of coin or currency in circulation." This is a staggering thought. We are completely dependent on the commercial banks. Someone has to borrow every dollar we have in circulation, cash or credit. If the banks create ample synthetic money, we are prosperous. If not, we starve. We are absolutely without a permanent money system. With the knowledge that money in America is based on debt, it should not come as a surprise to learn that the Federal Reserve System is not the least interested in seeing a reduction in debt in this country, regardless of public utterances to the contrary. Here is the bottom line from the system's own publications. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia says a large and growing number of analysts, on the other hand, now regard the national debt as something useful, if not an actual blessing. 100% money. Irving Fisher, PXE, the National Debt. Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, P11. Two faces of debt. Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, P34. The Creature from Jekyll Island. G. Edward Griffith, pp. 188 to 189. The 1980s. Here is the bottom line from the system's own publications. The Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia says a large and growing number of analysts, on the other hand, now regard the national debt as something useful, if not an actual blessing. The debt burden is passed on to future generations who will benefit from the expenditures made in their behalf. In this view, national debt becomes an investment in human capital. This is a hard position to challenge. So, too, does the debt burden become an investment in human capital? The Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago echoes this sentiment. What is required is not the abolition of debt, but its prudent use and intelligent management. There is a kind of fascinating appeal to this theory. It gives those who expound it an aura of intellectualism, the appearance of being able to grasp a complex economic principle that is beyond the comprehension of mere mortals. And, for the less academically minded, it offers the comfort of at least sounding moderate. After all, what's wrong with a little debt? prudently used and intelligently managed? The answer is nothing, provided the debt is based on an honest transaction. There is plenty wrong with it. If it is based upon fraud, an honest transaction is one in which a borrower pays an agreed-upon sum in return for the temporary use of a lender's asset. That asset could be anything of tangible value. If it were an automobile, for example, then the borrower would pay rent. If it is money, then the rent is called interest. Either way, the concept is the same.